Imagine being 19 years old, freshly bathed, dressed in silk that doesn't belong to you. You were told you were being summoned for service. You were told it was an honor. No one told you that you would never return home. The corridors are silent. Too silent. Hands adjust your sleeves. Someone corrects the angle of your eyes. Another voice takes your name, not to record it, but to erase it. Behind a thin screen, you hear breathing. Slow. Controlled. Powerful. You don't see her yet, but you already understand something is wrong. This is not a court appointment. This is not desire. This is access. And this was not fiction. It was not a rumor whispered by enemies. It was policy. The woman waiting behind the curtain was not an emperor. Her name was Wu Zetian. And what she built inside the palace was so unsettling that history tried to erase the men first and turn her into a monster afterward. This story does not begin with excess. It begins with a girl. The year was 624. During the height of the Tang Dynasty, a child was born into a world that did not bend for women. She was not royal. She was not an heir. She was Wu, daughter of a wealthy timber merchant from Sichuan. While boys studied the classics openly, she read in silence. History, poetry, philosophy, not for leisure, for survival. By 14, she already understood something most men never learn. Knowledge cuts deeper than blades. That same year, an imperial order arrived. She was summoned to the palace as a secondary concubine to the emperor. They called it an honor. In reality, it was confinement dressed as privilege. The palace was not a home. It was a machine. Hundreds of women waited their entire lives for a single glance. Most were never noticed. Most disappeared quietly. Wu did not wait. She watched. She listened. She studied power the way others studied embroidery. The emperor barely noticed her. Years passed. Then he died. By tradition, her life should have ended with him. Instead, she was sent to a Buddhist convent. Silence, erasure, oblivion. But oblivion never came. At 26, Wu returned. Against every rule, she entered the palace again, not as a shadow, but as fire. She became consort to the new emperor. It was taboo. It was unprecedented. Rivals vanished. Titles were stripped. Absences piled up without bloodshed. When the emperor grew ill, Wu became his voice. She issued decrees, met diplomats, delivered judgments. The empire already obeyed her. Only the title remained. In the year 690, she stopped pretending. Wu Zetian declared herself sovereign, not regent, not co-ruler, empress. She founded her own dynasty. The Confucian order shuddered, because Wu Zetian was not a flaw in the system. She was its inversion. She ruled efficiently, promoted talent over bloodlines, reorganized ministries. But her most radical act was not written in law. It happened behind closed doors, where power had always flowed from men to women. She reversed it, not for pleasure, for control. Intimacy became surveillance. Desire became a political instrument. And history would never forgive her for that. What emperors were praised for, she was condemned for. Male desire was politics. Female desire was treated as disease. From this logic emerged the Kongwen. Officially, a ceremonial office. Unofficially, a surveillance system disguised as intimacy. Young men were selected carefully, untouched, unconnected, easily erased. They were trained not only to please, but to listen, to observe silence, to translate glances into information. They were not companions. They were instruments. Some rose too fast. Some forgot their place. And those who crossed her vanished. No mourning, no epitaphs, only silence. As years passed, power hardened. The system she built turned inward. The surveillance became a cage. Youth surrounded her aging body. Whispers grew sharper. And fear, once her greatest weapon, began to fail. Because fear does not last forever. The end came quietly. No riots. No grand rebellion. One morning, palace gates stayed closed. Armored footsteps echoed through stone corridors. Her closest allies were seized at dawn. Executed without trial, Wu Zetian was forced to abdicate. Not by swords. By documents. Seals pressed into wax by hands that once trembled before her. She was moved to a secondary palace. Rendered invisible. She died soon after. The date barely recorded. No public mourning. Then came something worse than death. Erasure. Her decrees were reassigned. Her institutions dissolved. Her story rewritten. She became a warning. A witch. A tyrant. A woman of excess. Her lovers were exaggerated. Her rule reduced to scandal. Because the truth was more dangerous. That a woman ruled as effectively as any man. And paid a price none of them ever faced. Her tomb still stands. No title. No inscription. Only silence. And silence, in history, is never empty. It is a confession. So the question remains, was Wu Zetian a tyrant? Or the mirror male power refused to face?